Getting into a little bit of Brian Tichy, This Is Your Life right there, musically at least, with Horse Called War from Pride and Glory. That was Brian and Zach Wilde and James Lomenzo. The first post-Ozzy, well, actually that was done when I think Zach was still in Ozzy's band, if I'm not mistaken. And before that, Whitesnake from the latest album, one of my favorite drum parts and one of my favorite songs on that album, Steal Your Heart Away, Forevermore the album, also featuring the phenomenal drumming of Mr. Tichy, who is now a former member of Whitesnake, and he joins us live right now on Eddie Trunk Live on Sirius XM 39, Trunk Nation, and Don Jameson just walked in as well. So, Donnie boy, good to see you.
Yeah, so the ball busting will be twice as badly when we get Brian on the phone.
And Brian is on the phone right now. Tichy, you animal.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Now wait, was Pride and Glory, that album was done when Zach was still with Ozzy, or right after? I don't remember.
No, we recorded it at the end of '93. He had left Ozzy, got the deal with Geffen Records, with John Kalodner and all that, and he was pretty much he had announced that he was out of Ozzy and focusing on Pride and Glory at that time. Yeah.
So it's a new year. And what kind of wackiness are you smoking that you left Whitesnake?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, the thing with Brian is like...
The speed bag came back and hit him in his head.
No, I don't think so. I mean, here's my thing. It's like, when a professional football player signs like a contract that says they're not going to do anything crazy outside of the team. Like Ben Roethlisberger crashed on a motorcycle and he broke his arm. Well, Tichy... I'm guessing you didn't have that kind of contract with Whitesnake because you went out on a motocross bike and broke your arm.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover. He's injured. He's in 15 different bands, and he's not in Whitesnake anymore. So, Brian, speak.
Well, I just want to say that I feel great today. I did break my collarbone, but I'm not saying I feel great today because I had awesome surgery with a metal plate and 8 screws put in my body. I'm not saying I feel great because I'm healing. I feel great
because you're on painkillers, because you're on perks. That's why.
No, I'm not. No, I've been cutting back on them. I feel great today because since the night before my accident, when I played a gig with my buddies, this is the first day I took a shower, so I'm feeling great.
Oh, and I'm sure people around you are grateful for that as well. Well, let's go through it one by one. First of all, you broke your collarbone. What were you doing? Riding a motor, some sort of dirt bike or something?
No, I was just mountain biking. Behind my house, I got a bunch of awesome mountains, and I was supposed to have a rehearsal that day. Actually, James Lomenzo was playing in the cover gig with us, a little cover thing we're doing this Saturday night, a couple weeks ago, or whatever, last week. And he had some stuff we couldn't do a rehearsal, so I was like, all right, I'm going riding today. And I was coming down, and I don't like to tell people I go as fast as I do, but I'm going a little bit fast, and I just it was a bad judgment call. I thought I had one more turn to make before this gate that comes up in your path, and I have to go around it. But you got to go around it slowly, and I went way too fast because I didn't realize I was there. I had no time to think. I just went over this little mound. It threw me. It was as if the Jolly Green Giant just crumbled up a piece of paper and threw it in the trash. That's how hard I hit the ground, and I just got on my hands and knees and made the sound. I went. Three times, and then I felt all the stuff in my upper body moving on its own, everything hurt, and I had to I had to push my mountain bike with my left arm 2 miles down to get back to my car. But luckily, there was a couple people jogging from way above me. These.
Hold on.
This is
way too much information.
This is like an episode of I Survived.
I love you, but yeah, next the cougar's going to come out, a mountain lion's going to come out and start chasing you. Wait a minute. Here's the bigger question. Do you not realize that it may not be the smartest thing to be doing stuff like that when you make your living with your hands and arms?
I'm going to go slower from here on out.
I mean, weren't you under wasn't there some kind of clause in your Whitesnake contract that says you can't, do those kinds of things in the off season?
No, the Whitesnake contract says you just have to make sure you rock 100% on stage.
All right, well, let's move to that then. Why did you announce just a couple days ago that you are no longer going to be the drummer in Whitesnake, which, let's be honest, is a gig that many people, and I'm sure many are circling that nest like buzzards for that gig. Why did you decide you kind of are moving away from that? I know that David put out a really nice press release, and it seems all very amicable. But what went down?
Yeah, he did, and that was awesome. The night before, I wrote him a long email, and I went through everything, and the main topic and the main subject was just, I'm sure a lot of people out there can associate with this. It's life is short. A year is a year. When you commit to something for a year, you never get that year back. Now, Whitesnake's awesome. It's nothing. It's great playing with David, playing with the guys is a ton of fun. But when you commit to something, you're giving them 100%, which means you're not giving anything to anything else. And I have a new band with Sass, Son. I'm really proud of it. It's a long uphill battle. I don't expect, a miracle or anything. But at the same time, if I'm going to dedicate that kind of attention to something I started and I believe in it, and then I'm just going to say, oh, Sass, by the way, I'll talk to you in a year. Why did I even bother? And I have a lot, as you know, Eddie, I've never just been a drummer. I love guitar. I love playing guitar. I love writing. I love creating. I love recording. My own music is really important to me, and if I don't do something with that at this point in my life, then I'm not going to be really happy 10 years from now.
Well, let me ask you, because Whitesnake has been somewhat quiet for a while, but I know that Doug and David are working on some stuff, and I know DC tweeted out today. By the way, David texted me today to let everybody know that he's on Twitter. Very easy to follow him at David Coverdale, and he tweeted out that 2013 is the year of the snake. He's got a lot of stuff planned. So I guess that the commitment and the schedule for what Whitesnake has planned for this new year was pretty major. Is that what I'm getting from you?
Well, I think if you're in Whitesnake and you're David Coverdale, every year is the year of the snake. That's what he lives.
But there's years that are down years. Like last year, he wasn't all that active. There wasn't a lot that went on last year, unless I'm forgetting, right?
No, he was. There was no live. There was no touring, but most of the year they were up there putting together the live DVD and the live record, which will be coming out soon. And I'm on both. That's all from the 2011 tour. But they put a lot of time into that stuff. And I know he was doing other things in the studio with old Whitesnake material for future, for things down the road. He's got a long career. There's a lot he can do with it. So it's always Whitesnake year, but it's just, is it a Whitesnake tour year or not? No, it wasn't. Now it is, and those guys, it seems like, from what I gather, they're going to be, April through whatever, November, they're going to be rolling around the world and playing everywhere, and I hope they come to a city near you, because it's a great show,
So what was it like? What was it like when did you speak to David, or was it just an email? I mean, what was his vibe from you back when you said you're going to kind of move on?
It was not much different than what he released a few hours after he wrote to me, which I'm so happy about, because check it out, dude. You and I don't know if you saw my tweet of our similar concert tickets from back in the day.
Yes, of course. We were both at Rat with special guest Bon Jovi at the Meadowlands.
I was there too.
We were all there. I tweeted that out yesterday because they're going through old ticket stubs, and then Tichy replied and he goes, "I think I threw a frisbee at your head at that show."
It went right over my mullet.
Yeah, and I just sent another one out to Charlie Benanti, from the Boston Orpheum in '87. I mean, I waited back, out in the alley to get an autograph from him. I was a huge Anthrax fan back then. It's funny because I got all those tickets and stuff, and one of my tickets was Whitesnake Motley Crue, '87.
I got that one. I got that one too. Yeah, we were all at the same shows, man. Me, Tichy, Don, we're all Jersey guys. We were all at the same shows even before we knew each other.
Dude, I was just saying, not to veer off, but I'm just saying, when you're a kid like me, and I'll get back to my point because I don't forget my points much, but when you're a kid like me and you go, wait a second, Tommy Lee and Tommy Aldridge are coming to the Meadowlands together. Dude, can you name a bigger power punch of drumming on this planet than Tommy Lee and Tommy Aldridge together? Seriously, that's insane.
I didn't think of that, but that's a good point.
Well, I actually want to say the real reason why Brian Tichy's not in Whitesnake anymore is because he and I are in a band now.
Yeah, well, you break the go ahead.
It's called Holy Shit. Brian Tichy's in a band with Don Jameson Band.
It's a long name, but we're going to use the acronym, and we'll all get used to it.
Yeah, it's a kind of a band. I play drums, he plays banjo. It's a kind of a comedy polka thing.
It's drum and Joe.
And you mentioned Anthrax. And you mentioned you like to play guitar, so maybe you would like to audition for the open guitar spot in Anthrax right now.
Yeah, I think it was kind of funny. It's like, wait, I just you go online, I go, wait, Rob quit. Wait, should we have talked about this maybe?
I know, maybe there's a new Caggiano Tichy supergroup that we don't know about.
No, we're opening up an Italian restaurant together.
It's Eddie Trunk, Don Jameson's here as well, and Brian Tichy is joining us live on the phone line. Brian, now the former drummer in Whitesnake. We're talking about that amongst other things. But Brian, just on a serious note with the whole Whitesnake thing too, knowing you like I do for so long, and many people may not realize this because you are such a phenomenal, accomplished drummer who's played with so many people. And anyone who saw you play with Whitesnake the last couple of years live, it was amazing to watch. But for people that don't know, because I know from going back with you, you used to even have a band called Ball where you were out front singing and playing guitar, and that's a side of you that you really want to kind of explore as well. So I imagine that played a role because you're doing that with this band with Sass, right?
Yeah. That's really the main thing is that I'm sitting there with this person that I have a great time with. We write well together. We enjoy each other's company. We've made a record. It's out. It's moving. The reviews are great. I mean, this is. It just feels like move with it. Go with it. It feels right now. And to stop it would feel like I'd be stopping myself with all these things. Everybody has their dreams and ambitions and goals. This is something I want to see. And she's a badass, and the band's killer. And with that said, Michael Devin, the bass player in Whitesnake, he's in Sun. I mean, he's on the record. He co-wrote, but he's staying in Whitesnake because and we always knew it would be this. That's the case. I did want to make so that's a huge thing. I never really wanted to be a singer. I just love playing guitar and having a front woman next to me who's just a total badass. It just makes it, dude, slamming chords, the killer drummer behind you, fun tunes. But, it's a challenge, but I want to make something of it.
No, listen, as you know, I've been playing the Sun stuff the last few weeks.
I know, thank you.
And I've been getting, honestly, really great response to it. But you also know that in this music business that we're in this day and age, it is incredibly brutal. I mean, it's hard on established bands to get people in the room and to sell albums and sell concert tickets, but it's unbelievably difficult for quote-unquote new bands. I think it's a pretty gutsy move. I mean, for you to believe in this that much, and I certainly truly hope it pays off for you, because as you know, people would kill to be in an established global huge band like Whitesnake playing the headlining festivals in Europe and all that. So for you to say, you know what, I've done that, those sort of gigs as the drummer you are kind of always going to be there for you, but to believe in this that much is a big statement about how you feel about this group.
Well, it's about this group, and it's also about where I'm at in my life. How like I said, every year is a year. I'm only going to be this age for this year. I want to do this. And I focused on a lot of that when I wrote to David. I let him know. I kind of said as a joke, hey man, you're part of the reason I'm leaving. And it's because I look at him and he's 22, replacing Ian Gillan, Cal Jam 174. Insane, amazing voice, amazing frontman, and he's that guy right now. He's lived this life that not many people could even dream about. I mean, he really has, and that's an inspiration to me. I'm up on stage, and my goal is, all right, I'm not going to let anybody down when I sit on the drums, but my goal is to kick David's ass. That's my whole thing. I want to make him feel something, that's pushing him, nonstop every show. And, that's why I think he's being respectful. He sees I'm going for something. And we wouldn't have a Whitesnake if he didn't go for it out of Purple, but he did. And, we're pretty close to the same age, man. I was a kid. I bought Slide In on cassette. The first time I saw Slow and Easy on MTV, I was like, oh my God.
I got you beat. I got the European version before Sykes. And then I bought it on import, and then it came out in America on Geffen, the remix with John's playing on it, and then I really lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's, cozy, sounds great, the record sounds great, but David's voice, that is like, gee, that's the top of the pinnacle of rock vocals there.
Oh, I was listening to Mistreated from Burn the other day. I mean, what are you kidding? I mean, that's as good as it gets, man.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And, so he has a gift, but, man, a lot of people have gifts. It's just, are you going to use it right? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be smart with it? Well, I'm very fortunate as a little kid. I could pick up, like, 2 pens and tap on my bed into a radio and keep time. Like, it was natural. And I know that's, it was a thing but I loved it. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, playing drums. Right after that was guitar. Obsessed with guitar, learning everything from my friends that were practicing guitar. So it's just, I don't know. You got to be happy where you're at. You want to push farther.
Well, here's what I take from this. And again, we're talking live with Brian Tichy. Here's what I take from this, Brian. This is you saying, like, you're Brian Tichy. You're the guy who played with Whitesnake. You played with Ozzy. You played with Zakk Wylde. You played with Foreigner. You played with Lynch Mob. You played with Steven Tyler. You cut it. You did this. You played with that guy. But you want, before your career is over, to be Brian Tichy, the guy whose band is. In other words, you've always been the guy who's been in someone's band. With Son, this is your chance to stake your own ground as a singer, songwriter, writer, guitar player, drummer. This is a chance for this to be your own thing. Is that right?
Well, it's exactly right. When I was a kid, I didn't, look at hired guns. I didn't, look at anybody. Let's say Cozy Powell, for example. I just thought he was the drummer in Whitesnake. You know what I mean? Okay, there's always band changes and stuff. But a guy like Alex Van Halen, it's like, or Bonham, Keith Moon. These are, that's their band, and that's what they're associated with forever. And that's, to me, that's the heaviest thing about being in a band. Achieving something like that, and you're in your one band. That's your thing.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, one of my big criticisms these days is you've got guys, and I don't blame them for doing it because everybody's got to make a living, but everyone is really spreading thin. Like, you've got guys in 4 or 5 different bands at the same time just throwing lines out there trying to get a nibble, and I understand it because it's the economy and the world we live in, but at the same token, it makes it a little less special when you don't have that one place where that person hangs their hat. Like, imagine these bands we loved in the 70s, even the 80s, being in 3 different bands. It would kind of be weird. It doesn't have the same cachet for the band that you're in.
Well, yeah, and I mean, everybody has a history. Page was a session cat, and then he was, the Yardbirds, the new Yardbirds, Led Zeppelin. I mean, everybody has something that got them to a place. But yeah, I've been bouncing around, and I'm really happy with everybody I play with. I've had amazing experiences with everybody, and I'm not saying I'm like dude, I got to play drums, I got to work, I got to pay bills, I got to like everybody. I'm not saying I'm waking up every day and it's nothing but sun, but I'm gonna go for it for sure. I just know that going on a tour right now with a band stops everything. Everything's done. You're focused. You're giving 100% to a band. You don't just go out on tour and try and make other things happen. That's what you're doing. And in your little breaks, you're home enjoying time home. I mean, yeah, you can work, but I have kids, man. I'm gonna see my kids when I'm not away from them. I gotta go back and hang. You got family. You know the deal. You come home. That's your first thing. So it's all cool, yeah. It's just I'm at a place where I didn't get into one band. Hey, if Pride and Glory was, that band that had, 10 records over 10 years, that would be awesome. But I look up to the people that are associated with one thing. I don't care how Eddie Van Halen would play in any other band. I want Eddie to play in Van Halen. I care how Angus Young would play in another band. You just associate him for AC/DC, and that's what makes him one of the mightiest guitar players in the world. So this is just something that I really want to see happen. I really want to put both feet in the jump in the pool in the deep end and go.
Well, hey Brian, so if I have to cancel out on a comedy gig, I'll say to the booker, okay, I can't do this, but this guy could do it. So when you write to DC, do you give some suggestions for a guy to replace you, or do you just you say I know this, my friend's Mike Portnoy, he might want to be in the band, or do you just say I'm out of here and you're on your own?
No, I totally leave it I'm not trying to say you need my help at all, because Whitesnake has been just fine without me before I joined in 2010. But I throw it out there hey, I want to keep all relationships totally cool, and if there's some reason you think my help would be needed, or an opinion or something, I'm there, of course. I've done that with Foreigner and Billy Idol and stuff like that. So right now I have no idea what their next move is. Of course, they're going to find somebody, and it seems obvious to anybody that looked into this a little bit. Most people would probably want Tommy Aldridge back, which that's one of my idols, and he's an amazing one of my forget it, it's Tommy Aldridge, dude. So everybody loves Tommy. I love him. So I think a lot of people would love to see that happen. If they go that route, that's killer. And if they look for somebody new, that unknown more or less or whatever, that's cool too. Nobody said a word to me about what they're going to do.
If it's not Tommy, who do you think would be a great drummer in Whitesnake?
Oh man, that's a good question. There's
You're hard. I mean, you're hard to follow, man. It's yes, a lot of people would want Tommy because he's a great drummer. We all know him from all the great albums with Ozzy and Whitesnake. But who do you think would be a great drummer?
People would want Cozy, but tragically he's no longer with us. But right. I mean, Tommy would be Tommy would be cool. There's plenty of there's tons of young blood out there that would.
I would like to hear you guys tell me a couple drummers you're thinking of, and let me bounce off.
He's just trying to get off the hook. He just doesn't want to.
He wants to get off the hook because he's only got one arm and he can't switch it over.
Well, no, the other thing is this ties in is that Brian also does something called It's called Bonzo's Bash, right?
Yeah.
And that's coming up at NAMM, which I'm going to come by and do a little hosting for when I'm out there, which I'm looking forward to. You're going to have a lot of different drummers there. Tell us about that event, where that is, and when that is.
Okay, it's right off the bat. It's Thursday, January 24th at a place called the Observatory. It's in Santa Ana, California, which is right next to Anaheim, about 6 miles away from the convention center where everybody is. We thought it would be a lot of fun to give people out of town, from coming in from out of town, a chance to see this show because we always do it in L.A. And other musicians that might be in for the NAMM show. So I'm psyched that you're going to be there. I'm glad it's working out. I did want to make it started a couple years ago. I just had an idea. Hey man, every rock drummer is pretty much the best rock drummer of all time, and we all pretty much acknowledge that. So how come there's no proper tribute? We put his drums up in the front, and we have each drummer pick their favorite song and play with a house band. And that was a simple. I just thought it was a cool idea. But now it's like, when you have drummers like Portnoy and Virgil Donati and Charlie Benanti and Frankie Benali and we've had nearly 40-something drummers do this over 4 shows. So it's awesome. It's a unique kind of show. It's different. It's a lot of fun. Every song rules because it's Zeppelin all night. And the band kills, and I get to play second guitar on some of the songs, so it's a lot of fun. So that's...
and you have Nico. Did you tell me Nico's doing it?
That was what I want to say. We're coming. We're going to do a press release tomorrow with an update, and I wanted to tell you first, since you're going to be out there and you're going to be co-hosting. As soon as you can get over there from doing your other stuff, I'm psyched when you get there. We're going to, the new stuff that's the confirmations that are going now is yes, Nico McBrain was confirmed to play. We were about to announce that, but I said, hey, we did the Marshall 50th anniversary show together. I was the house drummer and he was the host, and I was like, Nico, how do you feel about hosting? And he was like, dude, it would be an honor. It's all about Bonham. So he's going to be there hanging with you. We have Carmine Appice, who's also his arms in a shoulder sling. He had shoulder surgery, so
he got 2 drummers that are injured.
Right. Carmine was just over here a couple of days ago. He had to for the last Bonzo Bash. He left a pair of shoes that I grabbed for him, and I'm sitting here. If you saw my upper body, I put a picture on I think Twitter or something. It's pretty. It really does look like a truck ran over me. It really looks like that.
But it sounds like come and see the Walking Wounded pay tribute to John Bonham.
Yeah, if you're injured, you can be a part of the show.
What about Carmine for Whitesnake? Ooh.
Carmine, dude, he is legendary. I give it up to him. I love listening to his stories. He was around before any of us knew what we were talking about. He was living it. I mean, he's still doing it. It's awesome.
Imagine him and Whitesnake with him and DC, 2 living legends.
There you go. Great call.
No shortage of candidates.
Depends on who heals up first.
But I wanted to mention also, so we got Eddie, you're going to be there, along with Nico, along with Carmine, and along with Uncle Joe Benson, a legendary DJ from KLOS out here. He's going to be also hanging out. He always helps us doing the hosting and stuff, too. He's going to start at the beginning. And we have Nuno Betancourt, who's going to be doing a tune with me. So
one of my favorite players.
Yeah, he had jammed with the house band of the night. We call ourselves the Moby Dicks. Ha, get it. And Nuno came up and played with us this summer. He did a tune with us, and you know he's an insane musician, all around, like top dog. You know what I mean? So I wrote to him. I was like, hey, what do you think about doing this particular song with me? And his schedule's open. He's going to do it. So
as long as he doesn't play a Rihanna song, we're in good shape.
Yeah, right.
And he can drum too.
He can, but I'm gonna stick on the drums and he's gonna stick on the guitar for this one.
Cool.
And yeah, but that's awesome. You know, Frank Hannon's playing a song with us. Billy Sheen's coming down. It's
all my buddies. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
Jack Russell's already confirmed he's doing a song or two. There's a couple more guys. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but it's just nonstop. It's like it's a real long show, but we don't do it that often, so you make it worth it.
Well, I'm doing that Dee Snider roast, which I'll probably be well lambasted for, and catch shrapnel from every angle. I'm hoping that my buddy Don sitting in the studio writes me some good zingers, because I'm going to be coming out of probably 2 hours of fat jokes straight to you, directed at me. And then, as soon as that wraps up, which I think is like 11, I'll come right over, and I can't wait to rock with you guys and see that whole thing. And you've been telling me about this Bonzo Bash thing for a while, and I've been wanting to see it, so it's going to be fun.
I mean, when you it's 27 or 8 drummers from everybody from Portnoy and Benatti and Dave Lombardo and Gene Hoglan to Simon Phillips and Virgil Donati and Ray Luzier, and I mean it's just top to bottom. You're like, well, that's what's awesome. You don't know which drummer's next, you don't know what song's next, but it's just an interesting type of show, because there's no show like it really.
All right, well listen, I got to move on, but I'm going to play a Sun song so people can hear this band, in case they haven't heard me play this, which I've played it a lot, but if they haven't heard it, you can hear what Brian is all about now, and what really his commitment is, which is why he left Whitesnake. But before I do, what are you going to miss most about being in Whitesnake? Is it going to be the hijinks with Doug and Reb? I mean, tell me what you're going to miss the most about being with your Whitesnake brothers.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. It's just the power of playing drums behind David Coverdale. I mean, if you play with somebody like that, you get that experience. It's massive. It's mighty. Every night I look at this guy and go, how many years have you been doing this? 40 years, and look at this guy. And it's just playing these songs that I grew up on, knowing that there's legendary drummers you're following, guys that I learned from, and you get on stage and it's like 1, 2, 3, let's go. And that's the most fun. There's of course, it's fun to hang out with your buddies on the road and all this and that. But the most fun is playing the drums and knowing that he gives his drummers a drum solo, and he's on the side of the stage watching me, and he's talking to me throughout the tour about what we could do. Hey, why don't you try this and that? He was the guy who said, Tischmeister. He goes, Tischmeister, when we go to Japan, you should use chopsticks in your drum solo. And I was like, that's awesome. And here's the truth. Zoltan doesn't really want me talking. He's like, but I got to give Zoltan credit. I text Zoltan. I go,
there's a guy for the job, Zoltan.
Yeah.
There you go. Zoltan's a monster. I text Zoltan. I go, dude, I'm going to do chopsticks in the drum solo when I go to Japan. And he goes, why don't you go full blown and throw some Ginsu knives in there? So I went, why not? And I went to Japan, and we played Loud Park, and I ordered chopsticks and Ginsu knives and a white headband, and we did the show that way. And I started doing. So then when we got to Asia, out of Asia, David's like, I think we should drop the chopsticks and the Ginsu knives, because that was an Asian thing. I'm like, well, dude, everybody eats, sushi everywhere, whatever. But anyhow, we dropped it. Then a couple weeks later, he looks at me and goes, Tischmeister, I kind of missed the chopsticks and Ginsu knives. Can we put them back in? So we put them back in. Yeah, so that's what I'll miss the most. I'll miss the most is this dude was like, I honestly can say he might have been my biggest fan on the tour, and because he showed me nothing but respect and kindness, and that's my boss, and that's a legend. So
There you go. I love that.
Right there.
I love that. I love that you pay respect to him, man. And we break your balls a lot because we're friends, and we, But let's face it. I mean, top 5 TMS drummer. So we have nothing but love for you. But
we put you on the map, man.
No, are you kidding? Dude, there's one place on this planet somebody set up a speed bag and played drums along with the speed bag, and you guys allowed me to do that. You don't understand how grateful I am.
No,
forget about the education at Berkeley and all the things you went through. It was just 5 minutes on that metal show that put you on the map.
No, I'm not trying to take credit. I love because Brian is still a true music fan, and I know how he feels when I open for Andrew Dice Clay. He's still the legend, man, and I'm just I'm a pimple on his butt still as a comic, and and I still pay all the respect for him, and I appreciate all the opportunities given me. And you got to go out and play with with one of your idols too, man. So that's awesome.
I'll never forget. That's what's one of we all got to work, we all got to get paid and do what we got to do and stuff. But in the back of my head at all times is like the closer I can feel like the kid that was cranking Kiss Alive and Saw Me the Same, a live bootleg. The closer I can get to those feelings of pure. That's pure. That's the most pure I was ever behind a drum set. Was when I was a kid learning, being inspired by Neil Peart and John Bonham and Joey Kramer and Phil Rudd. If you forget it. So those are when you're on stage, you look at Mick Jones and you're playing I Want to Know What Love Is. You're like, this dude wrote that song in high school. It's a worldwide massive hit. Or you're playing with Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. You're playing with David, Slow and Easy or something. Or Still the Night. You're like, man, I know how that stuff affected me, and I know, it's like, I was a kid looking at these guys like, man, how do you get there? What's going on with all that stuff? It's just, I'm going to try until I die. And
you went. Hold on, real quick, because I'm forgetting, because you're in 9 Million Bands, so I forget. You went back to Foreigner recently? Are you playing with them still now?
Chris, if you want to make it weirder, okay. Who was the drummer before me in Whitesnake? Does anybody have a little? You guys know?
Was it Chris Frazier?
Chris Frazier. Who's the drummer for her now? Chris Frazier. I came in to help those guys out as Mark Solman, their drummer, went back to Pink, and I filled in August, and Chris auditioned, and he's the new drummer, and he's actually playing at the Bonzo Best too. Chris is a great guy. He's a great drummer. So, how incestuous can we get here? Chris goes, who am I thinking of Foreigner, however Foreigner was thinking. It's funny. But, no, I just did a month filling in with Foreigner, which is awesome. I have great relations with those guys too. It's since 1998 when Lou was still in the band.
Is Mick in the band still?
Yeah. All right. Mick is in the band. It's his band, But he had the health stuff going on the past year, and he opted to stay up the road. But giving the band his blessing. So you got Kelly, Jeff. Yeah, the whole band is still rolling as Foreigner. Yeah, I guess it's weird if you explain it like this because Mick's not there, but I know they're planning a full year right now, and Mick is a part of that. So, yeah.
And what about this? I'm assuming the TNN Lynch thing is done for you.
No, Jeff Pilson is in Foreigner, and they work, and they don't really stop. A couple weeks.
Oh, that's right. There's another incestuous angle because Jeff is in Foreigner.
Yeah. So George. We did the record, and I thought they were planning on stuff at the end of 2012, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. And I think Mick was, supposed to be the drummer for that, because that sounds right to me. Put those 3 guys out there, which was kind of, my idea in the beginning. I know it's explained a certain way about how that record came to be, but those 3 had played in Dokken together and had said years and years ago, so there should be a time we all play together. I just kind of said, if there's all these beefs going on, but you guys can, still rock together, maybe you could, find a way to get the 3 of you together and go out and still, give tribute to Dokken and all your past glories and all that stuff.
Well, maybe if Mick breaks his collarbone in a golf cart accident, you can get back in.
Hey, you guys, was that seriously? That was the best rock story of the year. Was Mick getting chased on a golf course?
Yeah, people may have missed that. If they didn't know this, Mick Brown from Dokken got a DUI for driving. Now, normally a DUI would never be a laughing matter, but in this case it is because he got it on a golf course while driving a golf cart.
Drunk, playing for Ted Nugent.
But here's what's awesome. How fast do golf carts go? Like, what, 10 miles an hour? And the cops were chasing him, and he went, like, for miles, and they didn't
slow speed chase.
Ted tried to shoot him.
Dude, it's like a scene out of Benny Hill. It's like, you know what I mean? And the picture of Mick that was published, I guess is it, what do you call it? His profile or whatever the
mugshot.
Yeah, the mugshot. That was, dude, that's like one of the best pictures ever. I mean, that's the most rock story of last year.
And you know what? You're right, because my father, when I was a kid, my father had a part-time job when I was a really little kid. He had a part-time job repairing golf carts at a golf course, and they put governors on them so that you can only go like 20 miles an hour. Because I used to always tell my dad, take the governor off so we can go fast. But most golf carts have governors. You can't go over like 20 miles an hour. So that's even more ridiculous, a slow-speed chase of Mick Brown drunk.
It went on for miles. He's drunk, and he had 2 girls on the golf cart with him.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
I saw the mugshot. I thought it was Nick Nolte.
Yeah, it's definitely the most true rock story of the year.
It was great.
Interesting stuff, but that was, I mean, nothing comes close to that. It was just like, he just looked like a true rock and roll god doing that. It was like, I mean, I know it's like, it's goofy and silly, but at the same time, it's really funny, and I mean, you know, that's part of the game right there. You know, we love that stuff.
No, I love that. Nobody got hurt, and it's nice to see. Listen, we're in this world now where everybody's all rehabbed up, straight and narrow. Nobody does this, nobody does that. It's good to have some fuck-ups every once in a while, as long as nobody gets hurt. It brings back the rock and roll a little bit. People talk to me all the time about Manson, who was on our show a bunch of times. They're like, oh, Manson was just so fucked up. He saw his mind. It's like, you know what? For me, nobody got hurt. It's nice to see somebody out of their mind every once in a while. We don't have that enough anymore.
I mean, so was Morrison, Hendrix, Joplin, and the Beatles, and I mean, it goes on, and it didn't ever stop, you know. But you know, I got to say one more thing about Cover Hill with you know, like. How things can get on the road and stuff, you know, because you do crazy stuff. I mean, just you know, sometimes just passing time, having fun. But like within my drum solo, David would, you know, add a couple things here that suggest this and that. It got to be like 10 minutes long. But one of the parts was I just started, you know, the chopsticks got on, and then the knives became a thing, and then it was like you throw your sticks out, play with your hands. You play with the chopsticks, you throw them out. You play with the Ginster knives, and then you fake throw them out, and the audience starts cracking up, right? But in there, Michael Devin would get up and play bass. Doug would jump up somewhere in this chopstick drum thing, and Doug would start playing the octobans. At the end of this little thing, we all get handed shots, do shots together, throw them behind me, and they jump back off, and I go back into my drum solo. That was like the world of David Coverdale. Just to say, like, he's totally like, you know, he's not like, guys, I don't want to, you know, get too crazy or promote this or that. He's like, this is a life thing show. It's a party, you know, and that's just another benefit of working with a badass like that, you know. I mean, he's a smart guy, but he's also, you know, he's not being overprotective about all that stuff like we're talking about. Everybody's trying to do. Nobody wants to be looked at like, you know, like what we're talking about. Oh, I'm not sitting there condoning drug usage, all that stuff. I'm just saying the basic, have a good time. It's rock. That's what it is, you know.
All right. Well, let's wrap up by letting people hear the band that you have now forfeited those good times with.
Those times you will never have again.
But no, I don't say this in a derogatory way. I say this in a truthful way, because this is how it's important for people to realize this, because all these amazing things you're saying about your time in Whitesnake, this band that we're about to play is the reason why you wanted to go and go it on your own and give this a shot and put your heart and soul into it. So I give you all the credit in the world for that, and I really hope it works out for you. So the band is Sun, for those people who haven't heard it yet. Something Unto Nothing, it stands for, S-U-N. And Sass Jordan, who I was a fan of when her records came out in the late 80s, early 90s, tremendous voice. It's yourself, and you said it's Michael Devin. On this, the one thing I'm not clear about, Brian, before we play this is, in the band, I know on the album you're playing guitar and playing drums. When this band plays live, what are you going to be doing in it?
I'm the guitar player, and Tommy Stewart, the original Godsmack drummer, he's the drummer, and he's his picture, and he's credited on the record as such. And yeah, we've been buds for a long time. I remember doing Godsmack, doing Ozfest with him when I was playing with Ozzy. He was in Godsmack, and I watch him every night. Like, this dude's throwing down. He's a badass. It was like Godsmack, Pantera, Ozzy. I mean, you remember 2000 Ozfest was such a great tour. But yeah, Tommy's great. We kind of ran at each other last year, and I said, I got this thing going on. He digs the music, and yeah, so we we have fun. He's a great drummer.
So people can get this now. They can get the Sun album now on iTunes, and then you're going to put out a physical CD soon, right?
January 15th, the physical comes out. You can get it now on Amazon, iTunes, and all that for, download with the artwork and all that stuff, yeah.
You'll get me some CDs when you can, because you know how much I hate downloads. But in the meantime, if for 90% of the world that loves downloads, go to iTunes and get it. And if you're like me, living in 1988, you can just wait for another week or two and get it on CD. But the track I'm going to play is the opening cut on it called "Burned," and this is just ripping, man. This is great stuff, and I wish you luck with it.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for all your support. I totally appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, listen, you be well, and I'll see you in a few weeks out in Anaheim. Bonzo Bash, for those that don't, and it's open to the public. People can get into that, right?
Yeah, but they got to get tickets quick. It's going fast right now for sure.
All right. Well, the date again for that is January 24th around the NAMM Festival, Bonzo Bash, and the name of the venue again is what?
The Observatory.
The Observatory. So get last remaining tickets. I'm sure that the tickets sales have spiked incredibly when you announced that I was going to be one of the hosts. So
yeah, we're going to figure that one out.
I'm sure the Nico McBrain being there and all these drummers. It was, they heard I was going to come and make a couple announcements, and the place just went crazy.
It did. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if you can get a ticket now since we
may have to move to a stadium now.
Yeah.
All right, man. It's always fun to bust balls with you.
Well, thanks for having me on, and I hope you all dig the Sun stuff because I got a long uphill road going on here.
It's all good, brother. Man, we always support you, bro.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
All right, Brian. Take care, man. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks, guys.
There he goes, Brian Tichy. It's always fun to talk to him.